Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Shri Shailabhijanambura Shrisanam Shri Krishna Tatatmajam Shri Shailanve Devanatha Sudhya Praptagaman Tadvayam Padabje Narsimha Tate Guror Nyastatma Rakshabharam Vidvat Vrinda Chakora Chandiramaham Ramanujaryam Shraye Shri Ranga Sudha Madhusama Swadayantam Shri Ranga Mahishi Padapankajatmajam Sulabhashrayam Sada Moda Siddhamadbhutam भजेऽहं गुरुं तं रङ्गनाथप्रियं सुखासनस्थं हृदयाब्जपीठे चिन्मुद्रयालङ्कृतपाणिपद्मं शुभोपवीतं विमलोर्ध्वपुण्ड्रं नमामि रङ्गं गुरुम् अन्तरङ्गे नमामि योगसम्राज्ञीं विजयां विजयप्रदां श्रीरङ्गार्धासनासीनां करुणां मम मातरं गुरुरूपपरञ्ज्योतिः ज्योतिरूपगुरुः परः अज्ञानमन्दिरं ह्येतत् कुरु विज्ञानमन्दिरं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः सकृदेव प्रपन्नाय तवास्मीति च याचते अभयं सर्वभूतेभ्यः ददाम्येतद्व्रतं मम नारायण मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना. With salutations to our Guru and the Guru of all Gurus, we'll commence our session today. We were in the 16th chapter, Hanumat Paritapam, wherein Hanuman, of course, he has made the decision based on this time reason and logic compared to when he started to jump with joy the moment he saw Mandodari. So there it was purely based on the beauty of the lady. That was Mandodari. So perhaps without resort to much of reasoning, Hanuman jumped with joy. And that was quite a natural instinct displayed by him back then. Of course, he, within minutes, perhaps, he regained his sense and started to reason, this is not Sita, because this is not the place to find her. Whereas this time, once smitten, twice shy. So he wants to be very, very sure that this lady who I am seeing here is indeed Sita. So Tarkayam Siteti. He gives many, many reasons depending on the location that he is, depending on the state with which Sita was there. She was disabled. Normally, she is somebody who should be in a pure state from even an external perspective. That was not what he saw there. And of course, he was also hearing her sobbing, continuous sobbing. And of course, the fact that she seems to be completely in sorrow and depression. These are the reasons that he gives. Towards the end of 15th, we saw that Hanuman looks at the beautiful relationship between Rama and Sita. And, in the beginning of the 16th chapter also, we see that the divine personalities they both deserve each other. Hanuman tries to think over how on earth is Rama alive, given this is the lady who is his wife. And, his Rama should be, in fact, he should not be living அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி அவருக்கு மனசுல தோன்றது. Likewise, he also looks at Sita and thinks, how on earth is she alive? So there is a hidden lesson there for us humans, that we will all perhaps at some point of time get into a state. After all, we are all ruled by the 9 stars, isn't it? 9 planets, nakshatrangal, stars, planets. Everything is ruling over us. So, you move from one dasha to another dasha. It is but quite natural that, all of us go through ups and downs in life. And this is all about the depths that one can go into. What should be our state of mind? On the one hand, we'll be pulled down by deep sorrow. On the other hand, we should not leave or let go of our attachment to the divinity. And that divinity is inherent in all of us. That is something we have forgotten. We should hold on to our roots. And after all of this is meant to give us proper lessons in our life. And the fact that, there is something so near and dear to us, in this case, the husband is so dear to his wife and the wife is so dear to her husband. But beyond that, the reason for their bonding has been amply described by Hanuman. He talks of the glory of Ramachandra, and he in fact talks of the glory of Sita also. In this Sargam, we have seen that, Sita is, for example, the daughter of Janaka. She is the daughter-in-law of Dasharatha. She is the wife of Ramachandra, and so on and so forth. And in terms of who Sita is, towards the beginning, we are also seeing Asya Hetor Vishalakshya Atovali Mahabalaha. So Hanuman starts to think that it is for this particular lady that Ramachandra, as his courage and valor have been brought out, because of how great this lady is. In other words, that is something, the true divinity is something that bonds us with each other. And we should not leave our hopes, right? In spite of extreme adversity, we should still cling on to the hope that something positive is definitely around the corner, and have extreme faith in the divinity and ability of the other person. So in this case, Sita, for example, is extremely sure that she, being protected by Rama and Lakshmana, she will definitely exit from the situation she is in. And likewise, Rama is also positive that he has sent somebody like Hanuman to discover, search, and come back. So he is sure that he will find a way to reach Lanka. So, right. So with these words, let us see. We'll continue.
One question to hear. Namaskaram.
Yes, namaskaram.
One of the Avatara Ragasyam of Ramayana, Rama is that Ekapatni Virtam, right? That's what he followed. அப்போ தசரதன்லாம் பார்த்தேன்னா அந்த lineage is having a common practice to have multiple wives. அப்போ Rama has chosen this path. What is the message he wants to give us? Right? In spite of all these things, he still hold on to that, right? That both Sita and Rama both.
Yes. I think remembering my Guru, the answer to that is, we all look for fulfillment in our lives. Sometimes we are half full. So we want our better half to fill this half, right? So we look for fulfillment in that manner. And in this case, having found the perfect example of fulfillment, which is Sita, there is nothing more that is required for Rama to be filled with. So he need not actually go after many women. So this is the ideal lady who will complement him. Likewise, for, of course, polyandry was not present at all during Treta Yugam. There are very rare cases, probably in the harems of Ravana, but not in Ayodhya. So therefore, perhaps that's probably what explains, the fact that there is no need for somebody like Rama. In fact, talking from Sita's perspective, that's what we just told. Talking from Rama's perspective, he himself is a Purna Purusha. He is already filled with divinity and glory. And he need not, in fact, given a chance, he could have been the husband for many, many wives. He did not choose to do that for the simple reason that, there's a lesson that he wanted to give for humanity, that fulfillment in life can be attained by perfecting ourselves, with just one lady around, and that itself will lead us to learning a lot of life's lessons and setting the so-called ideals for others to follow. That's perhaps what we can think. I think we were in sloka number 27 or 28. Bharta nama param narya bhushanam bhushanadipi yesha virahita tena bhushanarha nashobhate. Did we complete that slokam? 28th, 20.
I have marking until 21.
21, is it? Okay.
No, 21.
21, okay. I have to go with the decision of the local Sita here. Okay. Imam tu shila sampannam drashtumichhati raghavaha ravanena pramathitam prapapamiva pipasitaha. Imam tu shila sampannam. So this is the lady who is full of extremely good character, Sheelam. So Sheela. And this is the person who Raghava or Rama is waiting to see. But unfortunately, she is now under the control of Ravana. And the viraham with which Rama is currently experiencing, he wants to see Sita. The upamanam that is given is prapapamiva pipasita. Just like somebody who is extremely thirsty is desirous of having water to quench the thirst. That is the vegam with which Rama is waiting to see Sita. Asyanunam punarlabhate raghava pritimeshyati raja rajyat paribhrashtaha punah prapyeva medinim. More analogies to follow. If Rama were to see Sita, what would that look like? The first upamanam is somebody who is thirsty, extremely thirsty, wants to drink water. The second one is Raja Rajyat Paribhrashtaha Punah Prapya Medinim. Just like a king who has lost his kingdom or some of his counties. Let's say he wins over those counties and regains his kingdom. How happy that person would be, right? How fulfilled that person will be. That is perhaps the same state when Asyanonam Punarlabhat Raghavaha Pritimensha. That is how happy Ramachandra would be on regaining Sita Mata. Kama bhogai parityakta hina bandhu janena cha dharayatyatmano deham tat samagama kankshini. No, he's talking it from the perspective of Sita Mata. Kama bhogaihi parityakta. She is deprived of all the conjugal pleasures. She is also bereft of bandhu janena. There is really, and you like to be surrounded by relatives. Today, probably it is not the case, isn't it? So she is somebody who has lost all her relatives. Nobody is around her right now. Bandhu janena hina. Tat samagama kankshini deham dharayati. She is perhaps holding on to her body. She is alive in the hope that she is going to meet all of these, the Bandhujanas, as well as other her close relatives, including starting with Ramachandra. Naisha pashyati rakshasyo neman pushpa phaladrumane ekastha hridaya nunam ramamevanu pashyati. So this is the mutual feelings they had with each other. Of course, one of the other reasons, Muthu, I think, is the more the ladies you have, the more divided your love is, isn't it? Your attention, affection. I'm not talking from any experience here, but that is what happens, and that's very quite apparent. And in this case, you can see the one-pointed focus with which they are eagerly looking forward to each other. Naisha pashyati rakshasyo neman pushpa phaladruman. She is not even perhaps looking at the other Rakshasis who have surrounded her. Okay, we are going, the next chapter, we are going to see a full description, 3D view of all the Rakshasis. She doesn't seem to be mindful of the Ghora Rakshasis around her. Neman Pushpa Phaladruman, that whole Ashokavanam is completely full of beautiful flowers, as we had seen earlier in the 14th Sarga, and fruits. She is Ekastha Hridaya. Her heart is completely full of only Ramameva Anupashyati. She is looking forward to only thinking about Ramachandra. Bharta nama param narya bhushanam bhushanadapi yesha virahita tena bhushanarha na shobhate. One of the other important lessons for humanity embedded in this shlokam. Bharta nama param naryaha bhushanam bhushanadapi. For the ladies, for Arya ladies, her biggest adoration, her biggest sort of alankaram, bhushanam, is nothing but her husband, right? So that is the biggest lesson here. This is also reciprocated by Ramachandra, okay? His biggest bhushanam is his wife, okay? Let us not forget that. These go hand in hand. And the Ekastha Hridaya is substantiated with this statement. She is Ekastha Hridaya because the biggest decoration for a lady is none other than her husband. Yesha virahita tena bhushanarha na shobhate. She is somebody who is bereft of her husband now, virahat larka. And she needs to be decorated with her husband. Unfortunately, that is not the case right now. Dushkaram kurute ramo hino yadanaya prabhu dharayatyatmano deham na dukkhena vasidati. So this is the if and only if. Just like the husband is a decoration for the lady, Ade madri, how important the wife is in the life of the husband. In the slokatla varde. Dushkaram kurute ramaha hino yadanaya prabhu. It is in fact so very difficult for somebody like Rama to lead life without Sita. So look at how much of a deep, profound assessment that Hanuman is making. This is something which is extraordinary. He has gone as a messenger. So somebody, a kapi, another kapi, would probably not have had this much amount of reasoning to look at in the state of Sita and therefore making an assessment, etc. It shows the greatness of our hero Hanuman here. He is in fact going into the psychological aspects and he is saying, how on earth is Rama alive? Dushkaram kurute Ramaha. He no yadanaya prabhu. He is bereft of this Sita. Yet anaya. And Prabhu Rama is without Sita. How on earth is he able to manage it? Dharayati atmano deham na dukkhena avasidati. So he is not drowning himself in sorrow or despair in spite of leading a life without Sita. And this is in fact very, very difficult for ordinary human beings. So this actually raises the pedestal for both Rama and Sita. So till now, Hanuman would have had a perception of Ramachandra. Okay, he's a friend of Sugriva. He killed Vali, right? And he is somebody who is valorous, courageous, etc. But the softer side of Ramachandra, that gets to glory only when Hanuman sees Sita. That is to be a point to be noted, Your Honor. Likewise, on seeing Sita, right, her own glory, I thought of Sita as somebody who accompanied Ramachandra in the forest. And she is a Bhartr Parayana. But look at this. She perhaps was given all the riches of Ravana. She was given the option. You can be my queen. You can live with me. And all the riches of Lanka are there to be seen. Is it not too tempting, right, to look at, wow, what a great life today. We look at some of our Western colleagues, right? These are all extreme temptations. And it's easy to fall for them and say tata, bye-bye to our, you will have X, so many X's, right? Perhaps the last X will be your first. So we don't know. The cycle goes on. And this type of temptations are very, very easy to fall into today. She did not. Instead of that, she has gone to the other extreme of getting into a state where she has forgotten herself. She is not taking care of herself. She is so disabled. போட்டிருக்கிறது ஒரே ஒரு வஸ்திரம், அந்த வஸ்திரத்திலே இருந்துட்டு இருக்கா. இதை பார்த்துட்டு ஹனுமானுக்கு சீதா பிராட்டி மேல இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு கௌரவம், the respect and the adoration, perhaps he would have gotten into a state where he is thinking, these are indeed Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. He is seeing his true mother and father. And that is the adoration that Kavi Valmiki brings through Hanuman here. Dushkaram kurute Ramaha dharetyatmano deham. Importantly, na dukkhena avasidati. He is not letting himself to be drowned into extreme sorrow. And one of the reasons why that's not happening is
He's looking for a person.
Sita and Sita's quality, right? She is somebody who is so pristine in her Shilatvam. We have seen the 4 types of feelings Ramachandra had for her, isn't it? Any recap? Anybody wants to say what those 4 are? No? So he shows compassion because she is a lady, right? And he shows love because she is his wife. And there are 2 other qualities, right? And the fact that Sita deserves all these qualities, the moment Rama closes his eyes in sorrow and meditates on Sita, he will get joy and happiness. That is the secret here. Okay? When we think, when we meditate, close our eyes and think of, let's say, somebody who we like, and if that person is in sorrow, it is quite common that we will also cry, isn't it? But in this case, it seems to be different. And the difference is because of the true nature of the other person. So when Sita closes her eyes and thinks of Rama, she will obviously go into a state which makes her forget herself. Although externally she'll be crying due to despair, internally she knows that she will get in touch with Rama because of the fact that he is Paramatma. Likewise, when Rama closes his eyes and starts crying, the moment he remembers Sita, there is a harsham, which naturally comes, Mana atita pratita vibhavam mangalam mangalanam vakshapiti madhuvijayino bhushayantim swakantya. So Kantya Bhushayantim, as Acharya Vedanta Deshika says, she is somebody who is making the Lord's tejas to go up 100 times or 1,000 times. When such is the nature of the lady, imagine you are meditating on her, all your sorrow will disappear. Perhaps that's the hidden meaning here, that both of them do not get into that extreme state of sorrow. Na dukkhena avasidati. Imam asitake shantam shatapatra nibhekshanam sukharham dukkhitam drishtva mamapi vyathitam manaha. So now Hanuman thinks of, okay, that's the greatness of these two people. But perhaps I am now stuck with emotions like a human being. Imam asita keshantam. So this lady, her hair is completely dark all the way till the tips. Okay. She has not dyed her hair. It is her natural color. Okay. Imam asita keshantam shatapatra nibhekshanam. Her eyes are like a 1,000-petaled lotus. Okay. The hidden meaning is that her eyes internally are focused on the Sahasrara Chakram, which is Shatapatram. Right? Imam Asita Keshantam Shatapatra Nibhekshanam Sukharham Dukkhitam Drishtva Mamapi Vyathitam Manaha. In fact, is she not somebody who is desirous of being eternally in a happy state? Sukharaha Arham. But unfortunately, she is now Dukkhita. She is completely, in a state of sorrow. Looking at this, Mamapi Vyathitam Manaha, even my mind has got into a state of grief. That is what Hanuman is saying here. Kshiti-kshama pushkara sannibhakshi ya rakshita raghava lakshmana abhyam sa rakshasi bhir vikrite kshanabhi samrakshate samprativrikshamule. He is continuing his description of the state there. Kshiti-kshama. Sita is somebody who is full of perseverance like Mother Earth. Kshiti Kshama. And she is in fact Bhumija, isn't it? Pushkara Sannibhakshi. Pushkara Sannibhakshi. Her eyes are like lotus. Okay, lotus-eyed. Ya Raghava Lakshmanabhyam Rakshita. She is indeed somebody who is protected by both Rama and Lakshmana. Sa vikrite kshanabhihi rakshasibhihi samprati vrikshamule samrakshate. So this lady who was at one point of time under the able protection of Ramachandra and Ilayalvar, Lakshmanar. Right now she is under the control of the Rakshasis, Samprati, right now, and Vrikshamule, under the foot of the tree. So that's the contrast he is trying to make now. And indeed, in spite of being under the control of Rakshasi, she is Kshiti-kshama. She is somebody who is not losing her cool. Okay, she is letting herself to be in despair, but she is not spoiling her surroundings. Okay, number sorrow poitonnaka, sometimes we get so angry that we will start throwing all the periodic table items around. Iron, copper, steel, bronze, silver, everything will start flying around, right? But she is not doing that. So imagine the Rakshasis who are surrounded. I wish I was one of those Rakshasis. You get such a positive strength by being close to somebody like Sita, isn't it? Her grace, her divine, imagine. And the Tejas ella edathilum sutti parandandrukanga. Hanuman is seeing, right? He is a jnani, he is seeing who she is. And the Tejas pada anga pakkathula irukra ellarukkum adu punyam, right? So she has not lost her cool in spite of being in that state. Himahatanalini vanashta shobha vyasana param parayati pidyamana sahachara rahiteva chakravaki janakasuta kripanam dasham prapanna. Himahata naliniva. Just like hima, that is snow, destroys the quality of a lotus. Okay, so you take a lotus, which is Nalini, and try to freeze it. What happens? That is the state in which Sita is right now. Okay. Murjhaya hua phool. That is what they say in Hindi, isn't it? Am I right? Then What else she is filled with now? Vyasana paramparaya atipidyamana. She is being tormented by a sequence or series of very difficult experiences. Vyasana paramparaya, experience of sorrow, basically. Sahachara rahiteva chakravaki. She is now somebody like a chakravaka bird, which does not have its colleagues or peers around. Okay. Sometimes இதெல்லாம் பார்த்துருப்போம். நம்மள யாரா பாட சொன்னா we will not sing. ஒரு 10 பேர் கூட இருந்தா நம்மளுக்கும் தைரியம் வரும். ஏன்னா நம்ம சொரம்லாம் இன்னொருத்தர் சொரத்துல அடங்கி போயிடும். Sorry, what I meant is sometimes if somebody asks us to sing, we'll be singing like a crow. We have other cuckoo birds around who are singing beautifully. Our swaram will get subdued by the cuckoos around, and we'll get that courage to sing. But here, of course, Chakravakam is a type of bird which naturally is a very good singer. But it needs motivation from its colleagues to sing even more beautifully. And that is the state right now Sita is into. She is bereft of her Bandhujanas. Janakasuta Kripanam Dasham Prapanna. She has now reached a state of extreme pitiability. Okay, where everybody has to, and you have no other option but to sympathize and empathize with her if at all you have any heart left. Asyahi pushpa vanatagra shakhaha shokam dridham vai janayantya shokaha ima vyapayena cha shita rashmihi abhyuttito naika sahasra rashmihi. Pushpa vanatagra shakhaha. That is, imagine there are a series of branches in a big tree which has fully blossomed. And what will happen? They will all try to bend down, okay, because of the weight of the flowers. So Sita is in such a state right now. Okay, she is completely in a state of sorrow. Ashokaha asyaha dridam shokam janayanti. See, the Ashoka vrikshas are all fully blossomed and they have their flowers upside down like that. By looking at them, you are supposed to get into a state of happiness. But that's not the case with Sita. In spite of looking at fully blossomed Ashoka trees, she is not cheering herself up. And then what else here? Himavyapayena abhyuttitaha naika sahasra rashmihi shita rashmihi. And this has happened because right now it is the onset of spring. Okay, all of this blossoming is happening because it is springtime. Just like the moon rising with thousands of cool rays at the end of the winter. So that's the upamanam that the Kavi is giving. So that's the beautiful season, basically. So if somebody is transplanted to, a tour of Sri Lanka, when you are in this particular season and you see fully blossomed Ashoka trees, you will cheer yourself up, but that is not something that Hanuman is seeing in Sita. Ityevamartam kapiranvavekshya Siteyamityeva nivishta buddhihi samshritya tasmin nishasada vrikshe bali harina mrishabhastarasvi. Bali Harinam Rishabha. Hanuman is somebody who is really strong, isn't it? Harinam Rishabha is the bull among all monkeys, and he is Tarasvi. He moves around very, very quickly, swiftly. These are the qualities of Hanuman, Kapihi. Ityevamartham Anvavekshya. So having resolved his mind based on all the logic as well as emotions that is hitting him hard, Anvaveksha, Iyam Sita Ityeva, this is indeed Sita. And Nivishta Buddhi is reflecting in his mind and making it very, very clear to himself. Tasmin Vrikshe Samshritya Nishasada. He then sat on the tree there and started to think. Tyashre Srimad Ramayane Valmiki Adikavye Chaturvimsha Sahasrikayam Samhitayam Sundara Kande Hanumat Paritapo Nama Shodasa Sargaha. In other words, this sargam is important for the simple reason that you need, many times we strip ourselves of logic when we make decisions or, look at strategy. So we should not lose our cool. We should not use logic. So that's the key takeaway from this Sargam. At the same time, it is very important to empathize and show that emotion, isn't it? When somebody is in sorrow, we should not be happy. Many times that happens these days. Yeah. I may not be happy, but the other person should also not be happy. So there are such emotions which spring within us every second, every week, etc. We should not be in such a state at all. Look at how Hanuman is able to empathize with Sita as well as with Ramachandra and tries to get into that state. Okay, so may we also get into the buddhi, at the same time the emotion that Hanuman is displaying. Ata saptadasha sargaha Rakshasi Parivaraha. This chapter is all about explaining the great parivaram of Rakshasis surrounding Sita Mata. Okay. Tata Kumada Shandabho Nirmalo Nirmalam Swayam Prajagama Nabhaschandro Hamso Nilamivodakam. Tataha Kumada Shandabha. So shining like Kumudam or lily flowers. Okay. Nirmalodayaha Chandraha Hamsaha Neelam Udakam Iva Nirmalam Prajagama. So there is a description of the sky which has Chandran. Okay, and the Upamanam that the Kavi is giving is the moon is shining like a bed of lilies. And he has ascended the clear sky. Chandrama has ascended the clear sky. And it is also looking like Hamso Neelam Ivodakam. It appears as if it's a swan that is swimming through blue waters. Okay, so it's a beautiful time of the night there. Sa chivyamiva kurvanne saprabhaya nirmala prabha chandrama rashmi bheshitaihi sisheva pavanatmajam. So the moon is also rendering its service to Hanuman. Nirmala prabha sa chandramaha. Very, very crystal clear. And prabhaya sachivyam kurvanniva. He is trying to be sachivyam. Sachivyamna, secretary or minister. He is trying to show his power. Chandrama is trying to show its power through its prabha. Okay, the cool rays of light that emanate. Shitaihi rashmibhihi pavanatmajam sisheve. It created a certain sense of relief. Hanuman is also full of grief now. Remember that. And when he looked at the moon has done its bit by helping him cool a little bit. Sadadarsha satasitam purna chandranibhananam shoka bharairivanyastam bharairnavamivam bhasi. So once again, Hanuman took a deep look at Sita. Purna chandranibhananam. Her face is shining like Chandran. Shoka bharairivanyastam. She is completely full of sorrow, just like Navam iva ambhasi. Just like the boat or the ships when they sail on the ocean. Okay. So she is completely full of shokam. Didrikshamano vaidehim Hanuman pavanatmajaha sadadarsha avidurastha rakshashir gora darshanaha. So Didrikshamano vaidehim. So Hanuman's complete focus till now was on Sita Mata. But what did he see? Not too far from where Sita is. He saw Rakshasihi Ghora Darshanaha. And the next series of shlokas will all be on the different types of Rakshasis he sees there. And I think we'll take that up in the next session, unless there are any comments or questions or any reflections from anybody.
இல்ல எனக்கு ஒரு ரொம்ப சில்லி டவுட். இப்போ முத்துஜி சொன்ன மாதிரி ராமச்சந்திரர் அவர் வந்து ஏகபத்னி விரதர் அந்த இது காமிச்சது. அப்ப ஏன் துவாபர யுகத்துல கிருஷ்ணரை வந்து டிஃப்ரெண்டா why did he you know portray himself, like why didn't that continue அந்த மாதிரிக்கு?
Okay. So just to translate this question to those who don't know Tamil, why did the legacy of Ramachandra not carry forward to Dwaparayugam? Isn't it where we see Krishna actually marrying 16 Shodashas, 3 Sahasreshaya Namaha. He had so many wives. This is a question worthy of a very deep discussion.
Yeah.
But the simple that strikes me is that when the Lord decides to showcase what is good and what is bad, he makes it relevant to the Kalam and Desham. So when he came down during Treta Yugam, it was very important to teach a lesson to menfolk, okay, in general, especially for this topic. Of course, he showcases many other Atma Gunas. But this Ekapatni Vratatvam is something he wanted to highlight for that Kalam and Desham, okay, so that there it gives enough knowledge to people not to hanker after desire and women. So perhaps that was what he wanted to showcase in Treta Yugam. However, in Dwapara Yugam, especially when he came down as Lord Krishna, he wanted to again, as an Avatara Purusha, right, Dushta Jana Sikshanam and Sadhu Jana Samrakshanam. There were so many, of course, we see this from a Puranic perspective, that there are so many Jivatmas who are all quite mature and they are very, very high in their spiritual life cycle. So in order to showcase that he is indeed the Pati of such Jivatmas, he in fact indulged in Aneka Patni Vritatvam, right? And there is nothing that prevents him because he is the Lord of the universe. Yeah. So Kamayata Bahusyam Prajayeti. So may one become many. And he wanted to showcase that his own power. He is somebody who has extreme control. In fact, there are so many instances in the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, which say that in spite of getting into a relation with so many wives, Krishna was still a brahmachari. So that is the lesson he wanted to give during Dwapara Yugam, right? All right, your mind can get astray. But if you are still within the fortress of Dharma, right? If you are still in a state where you can show extreme self-control and the dhiratvam, the determination that you are indeed the supreme Atman, that state is not easily achievable by ordinary mortals. But still, to showcase that even that is possible, right? On the one extreme, you are somebody who is a Dharmatma, Dharma Purusha, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha, right? He has shown the one extreme. And the other extreme is, I am the supreme being. I have extreme powers. At the same time, if you were to look at Krishna as a mortal being, right? There are many instances in the Mahabharata and the Bhagavatam which say how others reflect on Krishna. Okay? His power and charm is so great that you may go with all these odd thinkings and thoughts that, he is somebody who has so many wives. But the moment you approach him, all that will vanish. So that is the power of the Lord, where he will show who he is. In fact, all the Gopikas, for example, they had such pure heart that the kind of relationship they had with Krishna is, one way is to look at it as at the bodily level, but the other thing is rightly at the spiritual level. So therefore, the lesson he wanted to give there is that, of course, nobody dare do it, na daiva charitam charet, as the Smritis say. But for the Lord, it is possible to still retain his state of brahmacharyatvam in spite of being associated with many ladies. I hope that helps.
How does he sport?
Yes.
in-
How does he sport in Kali Yugam? Perhaps he'll go back to reminding us of the Krita Yugam, where we are supposed to be in a state where we look after the Chaturvidha Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, right? And perhaps he will make us think and remember of him, get back to the basics. That is perhaps going to be his lesson in Kali Yuga. Okay, I think we'll end the session here tonight.
Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsara Chiradbhava Mukta Guru Charanambuja Krishna Krishna Sendriya Manasa Niyamadevam Rakshasi Nijahridayastam Devam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate
Kayena vacha manasa indriyirva buddhya atmana va prakrite svabhavate karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai Shrimannarayanaayeti samarpayami sarvam Shri Ramachandra arpanamastu. Have a great day and a weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskaram.
Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.